aerial fans train guy again, and hopefully with better sound levels than I had last time. Having a little look today at the Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr DLC. I probably absolutely murdered the pronunciation there, sorry about that. So going to do a few different things, have a little look at a wee bit of everything and see quite a bit of the route along the way. Well, all the route along the way, as much as you do from the cabs of these things anyway. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab ourselves a 425. That's fine for the way that. And we want an early morning Essen to Duisburg. So we'll start with, we'll do the 620 or the 720. I think we'll do the 618. This route's fairly busy at any time of the day anyway. Nice easy cab to set up as well. There's no mucking about with having to stand up and move to find switches and things like that. So this is a mainline regional band service running from Essen to, we'll take it as far as Duisburg. It goes on, I think it actually ends up in Aachen or somewhere like that. So this will show us the west end of the line, and then we'll hop on a 425. Take that down the S-Bahn all the way to Bochum, and then we'll bring something else back all the way along the main line, because this is only about half the main line we're going to see, if that. Okay, get the doors open, go to screen 1. This is how you set the train information, by the way. RB33, so it's Aachen, it ends up in. E to enter, O to confirm, takes you back to that screen. Have a look outside now. See the boards are set, passenger lights on. Headlights at least a marker, it's nice and light, so we probably don't need them all the way up. So we're still loading the passengers, and then we'll have a short wait once they're loaded up before we have to go. Hey Samson, welcome, good to see you. Yeah, I like the Canadian one as well, but I've not played it for a couple of weeks. I'll need to go through it and see if there's stuff in there I fancy doing a stream on. Maybe it strikes me that a lot of it might not make thrilling watching for third parties. So we've got 30 seconds to wait here. Last thing I need to remember to do, turn my PZB on, turn my Sifa on. And once we've got about 10 seconds to go. Now, an important thing to notice with this train, that little thing up there, 140 kilometres an hour. Doesn't matter what the line speed is, this train's not supposed to go faster than that. Don't remember it mentioning that in the tutorial, but do bear that in mind. Nothing bad will happen, it's just an attention to detail thing, if you like. Very nearly PZB'd myself before we even got out the station properly. Oh man. So only one stop between Essen and Duisburg, if I remember rightly. Yeah, that's right. Speed limit on mode O is 160, but that's just the speed limit for the mode. That doesn't mean that every train's going to reach that speed. It's just the absolute never exceed speed. It's a bit like if you're driving the 155 and you're driving a heavy freight train with the 155, and I'll show you this a bit later on. If you're driving a heavy train that needs to be in mode U, normally your speed limit's 100, but you'll see on the 155 there's a little plastic label that says PZB 90 on the desk, and again that's a restriction that in mode U the 155 isn't actually supposed to exceed 90 kilometers an hour. So the PZB speed limit is what you're allowed to do, assuming the locomotive, assuming the equipment itself is capable of doing it. A little uphill here. You have to kind of concentrate on this route because it's just uphill, downhill, and your speed will fluctuate a little bit. There's no AFB on the EMUs along here. Hello Matthew Guildford, welcome mate. It's very kind of you. Yeah, I'm good man. I hope you're safe. I hope all you guys are staying safe as well. It's yeah, looking forward to the 204 as well, and to be honest we're going to have plenty of time to play with it, so it's coming at a decent time. Been playing a lot with shunters recently. Not been doing much streaming, but I have still been playing with the game. Done a lot of shunting. Right, hang on, there's a PZB trap up here for this speed limit incident that you need to watch for the sign coming up. Just there, that is PZB guarded. Just releasing PZB as soon as the 1000 Hz light goes out, because you really don't want to stop with it still on. It should time out by then. Yeah, good to know you're still safe, man. Yeah, you crack. Hope you're enjoying Final Fantasy, man. I've got that on my list at some point. I'm torn though, because I'm an old guy that remembers the original, and I've got mixed feelings about this. I'm just frightened they'll be disappointed whatever they do with it, no matter how good it is. But yeah, safe to say there'll probably be a 204 stream. A Call of Duty friends at a drive-in. Yeah, I can see why you wouldn't tell them. Although I did tell one of my colleagues at work, and he now plays it as well. But yeah, I have to be honest. There's no overlap between my this YouTube channel and any of my real world social medias or stuff like that. It's not something I broadcast, if you pardon the pun. Right, so getting ready to close the doors. It's fairly brief stops here, which is good. None of these minute-long things from certain other routes. Right, so it's 2 stops at Mulheim. 2 stations in Mulheim. We'll stop at both, and then it's a run out to Duisburg, and then we'll come back along on an S-Bahn train. Not much up in those switch boxes up above us. There's nothing you can really do with those buttons. Should maybe try pay more attention. Yeah, nearly went over a speed limit there. Completely agree, Samson. It's I mean, until I got this game, I mean, I played with some train sims back in the early 2000s, around the time I was big into flight sims. But flight sims were like the main thing. I was never really what you would call a rail fan or a train spotter or anything, though. I mean, I knew what a 125 was because everybody saw the adverts in the 80s. And, you know, when I was a little kid, I grew up near a railway and that, but I hadn't thought much about this sort of stuff in 20 odd years. And then I got this game, and then turned into a bit of an anorak again, and it's great. But yeah, there is something incredibly satisfying about it when you get it right. It's a very unique challenge. I think I might just be hanging off the front of that platform there. Oh no, doors are on, that's fine. I always find myself focusing on this point down here, coming into this station, and I forget about the little drop off on the platform there. Anything over there? No. As the morning goes on and the rush hour builds, the traffic levels on this line get really quite impressive at times, actually, I have to say. The number of trains you see in one place. If you thought it was good in Rhein-Ruhr Austin, it's really good in this at certain times of dates, certain stations. Just get ready to lock the doors. tell you what, it's a rapid little thing as well, this. Proper goer. So there we go, 5.5k to Duisburg. It's not a long route. Most of the stuff on it takes you between 25 and 45 minutes, depending on what you're doing. But it's okay. I mean, it's a split route, so there is the track mileage is a bit longer than the point-to-point distance would suggest. And I think the journeys on this, they're just a nice length. If everything was as long as Peninsula Corridor or North Transpennine, then you'd have a lot less time to play, or you'd squeeze a lot less into your sessions if your sessions are like mine and ridiculously long. Now, I've got a vague memory of a PZB trap down here somewhere that sometimes get caught in. To me on the S-band though, so it might be something over on those lines. Oh yeah, that's why it slowed down. So we've got a 90 coming up ahead that we need to get ready for. You'll see the signs there. There's also signals and stuff beyond, so you have to be careful that you're not so focused on your braking that you're not watching these signals and stuff. Don't know why I acknowledged that. There wasn't actually anything there to acknowledge. I think it was just a reflex after the last time I came through here. I hit a love a bit of low-key train racing. They've got the services nicely timed on this this route as well, so that quite often you'll have something running parallel to you, but at a slightly different speed. So you're going past it, or it's passing you, or you'll leapfrog each other as you head along. It's really well timed. Although I think a lot of the extra traffic is dependent on you having main Spessart bands, so depending on what version of the game you've got. That might impact what you're seeing, or what you've got available to drive as well. Let's hop out and have a quick look. So I think I do need to get back in to close the doors. Yeah, I quite like the 425. It's a it's an easy train to drive, but the route itself has got lots of stuff to to watch out for, speed limit signals, that kind of thing. So if you've got the safeties in, there's plenty to do. And the train itself doesn't ask too much of you while your attention's on all that stuff. Big long deep thing. I have to say, this unit in the 455 as well, the 425, whatever the other one is, especially the other one, bears more than just a passing resemblance to the trams we've got up here. Just with fewer articulated joints. I think the tram ride's a bit lower on its running gear, but looks more or less the same. Fortunately, I don't have to really make excuses to anyone except myself why it's totally worth spending that money. Yeah, just use the old cinema ticket price argument, you know, and you spend, what, 15, 20 quid going to the cinema by the time you're done buying your food and travelling there and all that kind of crap. And that's for, what, an hour and a half's entertainment? And there's the amount of time I spend with each one of these. You're lucky if I'm paying pennies per hour by the time I'm done with one, usually. That's how I justify it to myself. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll grab an S-Bahn train going from Duisburg, where we just stopped. We'll go back the way we came, and we're going to take the southern line, the S-Bahn line, around the south of Essen. So we want the 422. That's the one. So we'll do this one. Yeah, we'll do this one as rush hour is starting to pick up. I think so. About 7:30 is the lines are starting to get busier. So you can see from the map on the right there. This is an eastbound, and we're going to take the southern loop around Essen at the end there. Caltrain. Loving my Caltrains at the moment, it has to be said. Hey, Spurs Reading, welcome back, mate. Good to see you. Sorry, bit of smoke went down the wrong tube there. Oh, jeez, oh. Yeah, I love the old baby bullet. It's that's been one of my favourite purchases. They definitely made up for the absolute crap that was the Amtrak cab car thing with that. So we want to unlock the doors, give the passengers some light, put the markers on, set the destination. So it's screen 1, and it's FIS. The route button down here, number 2, and it's button 1. Those will turn yellow, and let's just remind ourselves we're service S1. Solingen westbound, Dortmund eastbound, so we're a Dortmund bound service. And then E to enter, O to reset the thing, and we've still got about 45 seconds to go. Bags of time. I don't find these particularly more difficult or easy to read in either resolution, so I just set them to what we would be at. Put the blind down, nosy bastards. Sifa and PZB over on the right there. Let's get these doors locked up, I think. And again, it's a green signal ahead of me, so I'm going to get ready just to release PZB from its startup, you know, the startup monitoring thing. Yeah, it is a shame about it being a little later than I thought. I think the reason it's coming out the 21st rather than the 17th is because Bus Simulator has its first big DLC coming out on the 17th. I think there's quite a big crossover in those two markets. I don't think it's like an agreement between them or anything. I think Dovetail have just realised they'll probably not sell as many if they release it the same day as the bus map. So it's quite a long run to the first station. The first part of the trip is basically going to be the one we just did in reverse at the same stations. We'll stop at Mulheim, we'll stop at Essen, and then we'll carry on east and head off south down the S-Bahn. Speed limit on the S-Bahn line is 140 maximum. You do have to kind of pay attention, especially with PZB on, because at different times of the day the traffic levels and what's on the line does vary. Some periods are quieter than others. There's less express trains around, there's a bit less freight around, so you can't assume the signals are always going to be. Some routes you're pretty much guaranteed you're always going to be green end to end, others not so much. This is one of the not so much ones. And also with the way the track undulates as well, you need to kind of be watching your speed and your power constantly. It's almost guaranteed I'm going to get something wrong at some point in this stream, because whenever I'm blethering, God, that's loud. Whenever I'm yakking away to you guys, I always end up missing something. And that's where we have our learning experiences together. I suspect in some cases it's just you lot learning new swear words, but a couple of trains parked off to the left there. There's a freight train holding at the signal, as well as an S-Bahn train heading the other way from us. That bloody platform end again. I'm definitely hanging off at this time. Oh, well, hanging off at this time. Bums. Every frickin' time. I do it with these stepped platforms. I don't know why they have those platforms stepped like that. I don't know if that's for parcel trains or stuff like that. I have, and we're going to do one very shortly when I get to the end. we're going to come back along the main line doing a freight service. And then my plan is to finish it off with a full run of the main line going eastbound in a passenger express of some sort. To be honest, the southbound stretch of the S-Bahn looks much the same going one way as it does the other. There's a couple of short tunnels going westbound that we won't go through going eastbound, but there is not a huge amount to see on some parts of that line, it's fair to say. Certainly not from these cabs anyway. If you're doing the freight services as well, when you're going eastbound, if you pick a mixed freight service, you'll usually start at a red signal. You'll have about a 10-15 minute wait sometimes while a bunch of passenger traffic clears the area. Yeah, sorry, just concentrating for the PZB bit there, that's fine. Yeah, if you're doing an eastbound freight service, if you do mixed freight, you'll have quite a wait at the start while some freight passenger services clear. If you do the tankers, I think you go more or less straight away. And if you fancy doing it with the safety stuff turned on, the tankers I would recommend mode U. So running more or less on time, not too bad, not too far back adrift considering I'm not paying as much attention as I might otherwise. Oh, here we go. That was cool. There's a few gradient changes and speed limits and stuff coming up. I will look at my chat window in a wee moment. Look on the freight services. Oh, it's probably going to be the 182 or the 155. Love a bit of 155. I don't actually stream Bus Simulator, Samson. To be honest, I don't play it that often. I do have it, but yeah, I don't know that it's something I would do as a stream. I just don't play it often enough, to be honest with you. So quite a steep downhill here, we'll just apply a little brake. Just over a kilometre to the next stop. You can actually, minimum brake doesn't really do anything. You can actually, if we're doing about 140, you can do all your braking in the last 500 metres quite comfortably. And for those of us who've been reared on miles per hour, that deceleration looks a lot more severe than it actually is, because we're thinking in miles. Even with the brakes on, I mean, it'll be firm and everybody on the train is going to know you're riding the brakes, but it's still perfectly doable. Now, if the speedo was unwinding like that in miles per hour, you would be probably getting ready to phone some ambulances to come and pick people up. And I think we're... Oh, so we're actually running a few seconds. We're making that time back up that we lost at the start. As long as you arrive on the minute that you're supposed to. It actually lets you be about 2 or 3 minutes late, which is normal for most railways around the world. There's a little degree of flexibility built in, because things happen. Trains don't always get to run at their full speed all the time. Ah, okay. To be honest, I don't have a problem switching between kilometres and miles. Kilometres actually make more sense to me, if I'm being honest with you. I tend to just have my heads-up display on this game running with whatever the... if the trackside signage is in miles, that's what the heads-up display setting, basically. And I genuinely have no idea how anybody drives with PZB switched on and miles per hour on their HUD. That just completely baffles me. So there goes a passing express. That's the one that we just left behind. My only sort of somebody looking in my window there. The only sort of minor gripe about these cabs is they're not they're not great sightseeing cabs. I mean, they're not supposed to. They're designed by intent to keep the driver's attention focused in front of them. But, it's one of the reasons I always like it when you can drive the freight trains along the German routes, and it's why I wish we could do it on rapid transit, to be honest with you, is that once you've got the 155, I mean that thing's, or the 143, those things are just glass boxes at the front. They're brilliant sightseeing cabs. Yep, you can hear sirens and stuff off in the distance, that's cool. So the next station is Essen, and that is where we began the session with the eastbound regional band service. And it's just east of here that the line splits up. Doing very nicely for time as well. I wish they had stop signs, you know, those H halt sign things that they've got on all the other routes. Really wish there was more of those along here. So you can reset the master controller to the 0 position once the train's stopped and the doors are open. It just shaves a few, maybe even a few tenths of a second, not even whole seconds off the time it takes the brakes to release and the train to get underway, but it all counts. We'll 10 seconds to go, we'll lock the doors. Right, we'll not be doing any low-key racing this time because we're speed capped to 80. This is where the S-Bahn and the main line split off from each other anyway. Okay, so up to 120. Now all those lines next to us, I don't know what those are. I don't think that's not actually the. I think we've. Oh no, that's the last point where the lines merge. I know where I am now. So this is where the S-band properly splits off. That whole sort of network of junctions and things that we've passed is where it all comes together. I think there are various other lines apart from the two we're using involved in that interchange as well. Yeah, the medal thing at the end's a bit. Honestly, I don't really pay much attention to it. Trains are sometimes late, and there's not much the driver can do. You know what I mean? So I don't really sweat it if I don't get a gold. But my understanding of it is it's a whole bunch of different things as well. Going over the speed limit will affect it, and stopping accuracy and things like that are all a factors. But honestly, I don't care enough about it to have ever really found out the minutiae of it all. Right, so most of the stations on the S-band I think actually look just, they're platforms with not much around them. Oh cool, I've never actually really stopped to have a good look around out here. As anybody who's watched any of my streams before will know, I don't spend a lot of time out of the cab though, so just watch up ahead for the speed limit reduction being advised there. So it's 90 kilometers per hour by the next main signal. Ignore what everything else tells you, that's the one that's important. It's not a fast section anyway, because these two stations are more or less on top of each other. Man, my braking is really crap today. Alright, so more or less on time I think. So again, we've got a 90 kilometre per hour limit from this signal onward. That'll just be for a set of points or something up ahead. So even though the line speed says 100, and the wee gauge thingy here will say 100, we're going to follow that. That speed limit usually only applies until the next fixed signpost or the next signal. If it's accompanied by a yellow and a green together, it's the next signpost I think cancels it, because it's usually used to slow you down for junctions and stuff. If it's accompanied by a green, it's until the next main signal, regardless of what you pass on the way. I think. And it's basically to keep our speed controlled for this section we're going on to. So you got these. I think there's 3 or 4 stations, bang, 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 along the southern side of Essen, and then it's a fairly long run out to the next town. Can't remember the name of the town. There's like one town between here and Bochum. Quick look at the map. So we're on this southern loop here. That's the main line going along to the north there. There's another couple of stations along here, and then it's a pretty long blast out towards the end. But there aren't any really slow speed sections, so should all be good. This 90 stretch is, I think, the slowest stretch until we reach the end. Right, so the next one is what? Wattenscheid Hontrop. All due apologies to any Germans who might have at some point hear me mangle that name. No, I never even noticed all that stuff out there. Huh. I hadn't realised how far out the... Well, I mean, it could be a whole city just over that rise there, I guess, but I hadn't realised just how rural this section of the line felt. Or suburban, rather. It's not really totally rural, is it? Oh, that was a bit better. Right, yeah, suburban was probably more accurate, I guess. There we go. Yeah, dangerous to do the outside view, definitely with PZB. It's the main reason I don't do it very often, because whenever I do it, it just ends badly. Oh, we've still got a wee bit of time. We're running a bit sharper than I thought. So yeah, it's actually quite a lot. The draw distance is actually pretty good on this, considering how much is going on. Compare it to something like the Tees Valley, which I've been playing a lot lately, and I've got a lot of love for it. Oh shit, wrong control thing. A lot of love for the Tees Valley, but oh my god, it doesn't half feel barren and empty sometimes.
Vorsicht bei der Einfahrt.
He said fart. Sorry. It's a very quiet cab as well. Right, yeah, so it's the second last stop we're coming up to. There's the S-Bahn has 2 stops at Bochum, one at Ehrenfeld and then one at the main station itself, whereas the mainline traffic avoids Ehrenfeld. So again, just a wee uphill gradient here. You just got to watch for the grade changes. And over on the left there, that's where the main line and the S-Bahns are coming back together again. Okay, so yellow signal ahead as we pull out, so I probably won't go. You could go up to 80, but there's a good chance of a live 500 Hz magnet not far down the road. So 60 is the sensible speed. We should still get into Bochum more or less on time. So there we go, under 45 already as we pass the 500 magnet. It's fine. There we go. Another train coming in. It's all go here just now. Hi Wolfgang, welcome. Would you rather buy this or RRO? If I could only buy one, probably this, to be honest with you. There's just a bit more going on, and it is a little bit longer, I think. Oh, lock my doors. Alright, nice one. So there we go, about 35 minutes to do an S-Bahn. That's true in both directions. No problem, man. Let's see. Yeah, no, there is more happening on this route. I think there is a bit more variety. There are definitely there's more freight services. I think the 146 is better integrated into this than it was into Rhein-Ruhr Austin. It's still not perfect, but it's used more effectively. Aye. This is just the better value for money package. That said, I think it does depend on whether you have main Spessart ban or not, whether you get all that extra stuff. So depending on what your base version of Train Sim World is, you might not see as much traffic in here. So, speaking of it having more freight and things like that, that's what we're going to do next. We're going to do the main line westbound from Bochum, so we'll see the stretch between Essen and Bochum that we didn't do, going westbound before. And the freight service only goes as far as Mulheim, it doesn't go all the way to Duisburg, so it's not quite a full length thing. Let's just see. Probably going to do it in the I think I'm going to do it in the 182 or the 155. But before I do it, I am going to take a very quick comfort break and go and fill my cup up again because my coffee went cold. So I'll be about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll get this thing cracking. Anybody has a preference which freight train goes along, stick it in the comments. Whichever one gets the most, I'll just do that if I can't make my mind up. I'll be right back. Okay, right, that's me back. Refreshed and refilled. So, yeah, let's go with the 155. And stay consistent with the weather. Make it a bit cloudier as the day goes on. We might even throw a bit of light rain in later on. So we're wanting a westbound, and we will do. When's the next tanker train? I think I've done most of the tankers. Right. We'll do this. We'll do a mixed freight service, midday mixed freight. The mixed freights, you can run these as Mode M trains, and I think the 155 is good for running up to 125 in real life. Still, I know they had some restrictions put on them years back. There was cracks in the bogies or something like that they were finding, so they put some restrictions on them, which is why if they're pulling a heavy train in Mode U, they have to go a little slower. But I don't know what, if any, restrictions apply to Mode M, or even if they still run those trains with these in real life anymore. But we're going to do it here, because we can. So, that's fine. Yeah, it's PZB Sifa controls are here. There's the PZB switch. Sifa switch is there. There's your mode selector. It's already an M. Oh, don't need the cab lights. Right, I think we're more or less good to go. So nice and easy out onto the main line. Hello EGM, welcome. This route's in Germany. This is a stretch of line between Bochum and Duisburg. This is the new Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr pack. Much better view from this cab than from the EMUs as well, that's for sure. So that's the S-Bahn line over to the left. So we'll start to slowly pick up speed. It will not. And right, I can see a green signal way off in the dim distance now. Okay, Samson, good to see you, man. Enjoy your grub. Catch you another time. Okay, so PZB long since cleared itself. We're going down a slope, so I have to just sort of be wary of that. This thing's not going to respond like a passenger train. Forgot I had more than 10 notches of power there. I was trying to figure out why the hell the thing wasn't why I wasn't picking up any speed. Right, we're underway now. Been a while since I've driven one of these. Right, let's see. Right, sorry British Railway Locals, I wasn't ignoring you there, dude. I was trying to figure out why the hell I wasn't picking up any speed. I might join you in another train timer stream. Oh, Sifa there. I think not right at the minute, if that's alright, man. I'm looking at the time. I'm probably going to finish this up and then get off myself. I didn't realise how late it was getting. I don't know how I've never thought of that. How would you collaborate on train sim without a multiplayer component? I'm not knocking the idea, I'm genuinely curious how you do it. In fact, the simple thing would just be to watch your channel, I assume. Now I think about it. Right, I'll make a wee note of that, and I'll give you a wee sub once we've done this. I'm going way slower than I need to be as well. I'm thinking I'm driving a Mode U train and I'm driving a bloody Mode M. Right, so we can go up to 120 in this mode. And just as I come off the power, the gradient changes. This thing is a real handful along here just because of all the gradient changes. And because it's not terribly responsive. Do this in a 182 or a 185 or whatever it is, one of the ones with AFB, and it's a doddle. Really easy to do this. This thing, you really have to kind of manhandle it yourself. Time I'm going to finish. It's about 6 PM here. I don't know where you are, mate. I'm getting kind of really hungry, so a fair chance I'll wrap this one up at the end of this leg. Driving this train complicated. It is to begin with. It's not so much that it's complicated, you just need to pay a lot of attention to what's going on around you. You need to plan ahead a little bit as well with it. It certainly is very different from anything else in the game, really. Never mind on the German routes. Because of course these were built in East Germany, the former East Germany, so they weren't built to the sort of any standard conventions that were being used in railways across Western Europe. Because even by the time these things are built, railways in Western Europe on the continent, certainly there was a degree of sort of common design ideas and things when it came to a lot of this stuff. Right, so I'm going to start braking now because I can just see a screen full of yellow lights ahead. And just remember to give PZB a tap as we go past. And we're already well and truly on our way down to 70, so I'm going to basically release the brakes now because it's going to take a while for them to fully come off anyway, and then you can just give them a little squeeze. You can control the braking a lot more easily if you're off them nice and early. Slightly lower PZB limits as well. Okay, EGM, good to see you, man. Catch you again another time. Stay safe, dude. So slightly lower PZB limits than we would have in mode O on the passenger train, but still plenty of time to stop. And there we go, we've got a red up ahead. Reason for the red is just ahead of us is the interchange junction at Essen. So there's a train going off to the right there. I'm not even going to fully brake. Just try and keep rolling if I can. Try and avoid coming to a complete stop unless you can absolutely avoid it. Or unless you absolutely have to, rather. I might have to stop completely. Oh, there we go. So we have a clear with expect stop. So we will have to acknowledge it as we go past. And we will go back into 1000 Hz monitoring. Trying to be gentle with it because you don't want to go past 25 until you pass this signal head, and then acknowledge it. There we go, we can get up to about 30 now. The 500 Hz magnet limits for mode M are maximum of 55, I think, as you pass it, 50 or 55, slowing to 35 within 150 or so meters. So generally 30 kilometers an hour for the 500 Hz zone to play it safe and give yourself that kind of 5k cushion. So looking down the track, round the corner from this building for the signal. It's down at the end of the platform. And we've got a green. Almost forgot to release PZB there before I went over the speed limit. I was too busy looking at the train and the next next platforms. It's busy around here. Right, so hopefully a fairly straightforward run to Milheim from here. Sifa going off in the background. Horn here every 30-40 seconds. So just manage the speed now. Again, just watching out for the undulations in the track. There's very little that you can't overcome with just a squirt of minimum braking though. There's only one or two sections where the grade is really something to watch for. Although the sidings we're going into at Loheim, the entrance to those happens to be on one of those downhill sections. Never done it in mode N in one of these locomotives before, so we're about to find out if I've guessed right on the PZB settings. Giving it plenty of braking because we are now going down a fairly steep grade. So I started braking as soon as I saw the signal. Little freeze there usually means there's traffic spawning. It's annoying, but it's not game breaking. So yeah, I never really thought about that. It is a great sightseeing cab, but it's such a hands-on locomotive that you don't end up with much time for the actual sightseeing. Oh well. So just gentle applications of the brake to get the speed under control again, because we are coasting down a hill, and then just watch and try and not let it build up too far. Okay, so clear signals. A bit of speed up. We're not going to go absolutely mental because we're going to be slowing down again very quickly. The hardest part of this is actually the stop, because it gives you a window of about 5 metres to stop draining before you just go through a red. It's aye, that could be interesting in this thing. So that signal's telling me get down to 40 kilometres an hour by the next one. We're already well under the PZB limits, so don't have to worry about that. There won't be a 500 Hz magnet for a proceed with reduced speed signal, not generally speaking anyway. What time is it? 10 past 6. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do, just so that this stream ends up being a complete thing like I wanted it to be at the start. I think I'll do... I don't think I need to acknowledge that one, no, because that's just a distant signal for the main ahead. I think I will do one very quick run with the express train west to east, just to see the main line going in the other direction in its entirety, and then that way everything will have been covered at least in one pass, because that'll be the S-band done, it'll be the main line in both directions. The S-band I think has the least variety coming back to me. Oh, what was I not watching there? Else teeth. Right, there was obviously something I was supposed to acknowledge there. I was too busy daydreaming about what I'm going to do next. Just while we wait for the brakes to I bet you this signal is it's slow or something like that, and I've just dawdled straight on by it. Ah, what a tube. $100 meters before the stop as well. What a donut. A few hundred meters from the stop now. Don't know why my wee driver always goes bald when I go in the 155. He's he's no usually a wee baldy guy. Feels like something's dragging. So this bit you got to be careful as well, because you'll notice the difference between this number and this number are not very big, and it expects this number to be basically 0 when you stop. This is really clumsy, but the trick is basically just to crawl up to this as slowly as you can to stop in this like 5 or 6 meter window that you've got. When you've got AFB to help you do this bit, it's not that difficult. When you're doing it by hand this way, it can be squeaky bum time when you get to the end here. And breathe out. 32.09. Right, I tell you what, we'll round this out with a quick blast back along on an express. Take about 20 minutes to do this, maybe 20-25 minutes, and then I'm definitely finishing because I am quite hungry. Let's make it a bit rainy for this one. We'll do it in the... We'll do it in the 425 again. So I want to go eastbound, so I want an R11. Let's do a tea time. Tea time eastbound. This will not take long. Right, quite an easy setup. Key in, put it into neutral, door controls are there, passenger cabin lights, we'll bang the headlights on because it's no very nice outside. Oh, not the battery switch, I want the PZB switch, I want the Sifa switch. I always put my blinds down. And it's the same in this one to set the destination. We're RB11, aren't we? Or RE11, something like that. Yeah, so eastbound end up going to a place called Ham. Westbound's to Aachen. Mönchengladbach, sorry. Right, 30 seconds to go. Let's give ourselves some light as well. Ten seconds. Close the doors up. Put the reverser forward. We're good to go. Again, I'll be the PZB controls are nice and easy to reach just here. I'm releasing it straight away because that's a green main signal ahead of me, so there can't be an active magnet in the next 700 or so meters. It is telling me 60 kilometers an hour on the way out of the station though. That's just for going across this set of points. Really is a little pocket rocket, this thing. So again, just keeping the line speed in mind. The maximum train speed, rather. Speed limit for the unit is 140. Sifa just responding to there. For anybody who doesn't really use these systems, sometimes you're hearing a siren go off and then I'm pressing the button to turn that off. Other times I'm just pressing the button because there's a light down here that comes on just before the alarm goes off. And if I see that, I'll clear the system, I'll clear the other. It's just lit up now. If I notice that before I hear the siren, I'll just press the button to clear it. So that's why you sometimes hear me press the Sifa button apparently unprompted. So again, there's no stop board, but it does at least have this milepost to use as a rough guide. Use that roughly as a visual marker, you'll be more or less okay. And it's signal green, yes it is, that's fine. I don't think there'll be any hanging about once the train's loaded. Right, so only one stop there in Mulheim and then straight on to Essen. Hopefully a clear run all the way. So line speed's gone up to 160, but again, just remembering this little thing up here, you can't see it really from this angle. But that's the little note that's reminding you that the maximum for the unit is 140. Yes, you can still more or less make the timetable running at that speed. Signals and stuff notwithstanding, obviously. That was one of the S-Bahn trains heading the other way. Oh, popping in train there, that's unfortunate. LZB. Yeah, I'd love to get my hands on work in LZB. Haven't got the first clue how it works, but if it's half as good as PZB is, then I want that. Right, we're about 45 seconds early as well, I think. Was that sitting down there before we arrived, or did that follow us in? That must have already been sitting there. So that's the, way back at the start of the stream, that's the service that we took to Duisburg at the beginning. Blimey, it's all going on here.
Bitte achten Sie auf die Markierung am Bahnsteigrand.
He's not opened our doors. How bizarre. Right, should probably pay attention to the signals going through this this section because it can be quite busy sometimes. Right, so when we came this way in the S-Bahn train, after we left Essen, we went down the South Line, stopped at all those stations before ending up at a place called Wattenscheid. Now, this isn't the same Wattenscheid station, I don't think. The S-Bahn has its own stop because the lines haven't come back together at this point. So it's like one stop there and then it's a straight run out to Bochum. Again, apologies for absolutely murdering the pronunciations of any place names. If it's any consolation though, I had to be corrected on my pronunciation of some of the stations on the East Coast Express, the Southern Rail one that they brought out just before Christmas, so I can't even say things properly in my native tongue. The next DLC, maybe another German logo. I think if they follow the pattern that they have up till now, it'll probably be another British route next. The destination boards for the Great Western Express would be good. I noticed that one patch that they brought out, I think it might have been just before they upgraded to 2020, there's now click spots in the cab of the 166 for the destination board controls. They don't do anything, but they weren't always there. They were added in long after the game came out, so I don't know if they maybe abandoned that and never went back to it, or whether they've got it in store further down the line or what, but you never know, it might happen yet. Although they did give the Great Western and Rapid Transit major overhauls last year as well. I don't know how long you've had the game for, but when it first came out, Rapid Transit was broken. It was bad. The route itself wasn't too bad, but PZB did not work at all. There was so many bugs and so many problems with signals and magnets not matching up and things like that. They completely fixed all that. So they do have form for sometimes going back to the old stuff and fixing it. Although that said, they did only fix it because they wanted to sell us a new locomotive for it. The 182 came out around then as well. Oh hell, I've not put my brakes on because I've been too busy talking. Uh-oh. It's all good, man. I've done this loads of times. Just means we'll be a couple of minutes late getting to the end, but in fact, no, look, I might still be on time. 17:22 was my arrival time. Ha. I made it on time. All right. Oh, dearie dear. Oh yes, the NEC certainly does. It's okay if you have a keyboard, because as long as you switch ATC off in the tunnel, it more or less works okay. There's also a bit on I think it's at the western end, where sometimes you just lose all the power and you have to recycle the cab, and I've never quite worked that one out. But yeah, it's workable as long as you kill it all during the tunnel. But tellingly, they have never tried to get access working on any other American DLC that they've released. They did put ATC into the Long Island, but it felt a bit rubbish because it was missing the access component. I don't know if Caltrain has any of that equipment fitted to their. If they use access or ATC on their trains. I know that they're currently gearing up for a new type of signalling system. Hence the dead screens in the cabs at the moment. Right, we may yet make it to Bochum on time. So under 4 kilometres to run now, so just sensible just to be prepared for signals and things slowing you down as we approach. Under 3 kilometres, so there are only a couple of signalling blocks left to go now, so be prepared to almost certainly encounter something. I can see a yellow up ahead, so we'll start dropping speed now. And taking it down to under 65 because of potential 500 Hertz magnets ahead. Took me ages to work the alerter out on Peninsula Corridor, not on the locomotive but at the cab car end, on the bi-level cab car, because it's not mapped to the circle button on your pad. If you're playing on PlayStation, the alerter circle doesn't cancel the alerter in the cab car. You actually have to press the button which is on the desk. Happily it's kind of positioned right in front of you. Oh, what did I not do? Right, clearly wasn't paying enough attention there because I've driven past something. Let's just dash back and see if we can figure out what it was. It was probably that signal. Yeah, it was that signal. Would have been at yellow. Right, so about a minute late after that. It's not the worst I've ever done. So what we do want to do is we want to make sure that we stop short of the 500 Hertz magnet. We're not going any further, obviously. This is the end of this service for the game. But if it was going any further onward, you would not want to pass that magnet, because then you'll be setting off at 25 rather than 40 kilometers per hour. Because of restricted monitoring and all that. I was going to clear that. It would kick straight back in as soon as you move off the game, because you'd be going past the 500 Hertz magnet anyway. But you'll have it. If the signal turns green before the train moves off, then you're basically going completely clear. Ah, don't worry about it, man. I usually find a way to make a mess of it all by myself anyway. It's all good. See what will fly the camera inside. long single unit, more or less. You walk all the way from one end to the other, and the only doors you need to open are these little glass fellies and the cab doors. And there endeth the service. Alright, so that was the Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr, and you see more or less all of it. The only thing I didn't do was go west along the S-Bahn, but it's, like I said, there's not a huge difference between it one way and the other. So we did a little bit of everything there, saw quite a bit. Once I've dug through the scenarios and things, I might have a look at, see what I can get out of those. I want to do some more videos of scenarios, not just from this route anyway, but from various other ones that I've found that I quite enjoyed doing. But for now, I am now absolutely ravenous, because I was going to stop this about half an hour ago. So I am going to go and have something to eat. Thank you very much, everybody who's watched either live or later on and sat through this far. It's much appreciated. Hope you guys all stay safe, and I'll catch you again next time. Stay indoors.